What did I ask them? Oh yeah, good morning. It's the bumper breakfast, and we're glad to be here with you this Thursday morning. Of course, we've been enjoying some good music this morning. We've been sharing with you those songs are from Nigeria, so you obviously get prepared for this season. It's the Christmas season, whether we like it or not. The Christmas is almost here, and because Christmas is almost here, you're going to be seeing some good Christmas songs, Christmas movies, all the way from, I'll be recommending some to you anyway, from December 1st. So for those who are going to be at home, you're going to be thinking about what to do, don't worry, we got you covered. So we'll be giving you the gist, Christmas music, Christmas songs, things you could just liven you up, cheer you up all through the month of December as we begin to look at 2021. And hopefully 2021 will not just be the year of the new normal, because it's going to be the year of the new normal. Obviously, everybody's going to be wearing face shield and face mask and taking vaccine, obviously. But of course, we will believe that more good tidings will come with 2021. So hope you're hopeful and keep your hope alive. My name is Tomi Siojo, and this is the Bumper Breakfast. Somebody's with me on the table this morning, looking all fly and beautiful. I'm almost jealous, you know. You know, at that point when you now feel like maybe I should start wearing glasses. You get that point. I really do not like glasses. I really do not like anything that comes around my nose, you know. I feel like there's an impediment there. My nose would pain me if I wear glasses. That's why I don't even wear the fashion one. But now she's wearing glasses, and I'm like, maybe I should wear glasses. Maybe I should wear glasses. See, she looks. See, you share my view.
Good morning to us.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. And good morning to Nigeria. Oh, thank you. You always have something to say about me. Yeah. Today, thank God you're not talking about my lipstick. Actually, I wanted to do a mix-up again. I said, no, Tommy said you embarrass me. Let me just go on rest this morning. You're just going to start talking about my lipstick.
No. I will talk about your
lipstick. And today you're talking about my glasses again.
Yeah, because it's beautiful.
Yeah,
I told you on Tuesday, while I was like, she was on the news and I saw her and I'm like, really? Why does she look like a really good girl?
I'm a good girl.
No,
I'm a good girl.
I didn't say a good girl. I said really good.
Okay, but I'm a good girl. And I'm a really good girl.
You have become a really good girl.
I'm a really good girl.
How was your night? Hope you have a beautiful night.
Yeah, fine. Let's go.
Yeah, we're doing blue. She also was in the spirit. We're doing blue. So obviously we're flying in the same direction this morning. And guess what? Kayode will be here today.
Oh, the forgotten ones.
Yeah, we're back.
Finally.
We're back. And for me, the forgotten ones this morning, I hope you had better be telling me about Lagos Abeokuta and Lagos Ibadan Expressway. But Mr. Fatunke also joins us this beautiful Thursday morning. Mr. Fatunke is usually here every Thursday from the hour of 8 o'clock all the way till the end of the show. Mr. Fatunke is one of the few people that I really exceptionally appreciate. Why? Because he's got your back anytime. And he's not even not feeling fine. And I had to tell me, say, even though I'm not feeling fine,
I have to be there.
I will be on your show. Mr. Fatunke, good morning. We really do appreciate you. When is your birthday anyway?
Thank you very much, Tomisi. I hope I'll be able to raise my voice.
No, you don't have to. Don't worry.
And I have to confess, always very difficult to say this on radio. I have to confess that when I came in, I saw Tessie, I was wowed.
Hi.
See? I was wowed. I'm so happy for her because she looks good. Like
you see, like I said.
Well, I'm seeing her for the first time
in glasses.
In glasses. Whoever has been the
proponents
or wherever you bought this from, they need to pay you some royalty. And
yeah.
I mean that
yeah, because you're wearing that well.
You need to get back to them, and I'm
repping your brand.
They need to see what we are saying here. You look good.
Thank you.
Tomisi,
I'm blushing.
What you have up there reminds me of Moroni Ajanso.
I'm telling you, they had you.
Again, it gives one the happy feeling that you folks are enjoying what
you're doing
in the broadcast profession, together with the print. I think we are making the right message to Nigerians that despite all the challenges we have, we still come out here to come and voice positiveness, positivism to the Nigerian public. Good morning, Nigerians. I'm happy to be here.
It's the African look, and sometimes you just say, I rep my country.
Yes. I would want to say something. Mr. Fatuke said he's not sure maybe he will raise his voice today, but I can assure him he's going to raise his voice when we start reading Nigerian matters. When we start reading Nigerian
Even you can be very sure that Mr. Fatuke is definitely going to
raise his voice.
But I have good news for you this morning. I have good news. So don't worry. I try to be nice. I have good news. And that's why I'm starting with the Guardian newspaper anyway, because they seem to have good news. Yeah, good news. We're going to build rail from Nigeria, from Itakwe Wari to Niger Republic.
We're going to what?
Build rail.
Rail, okay. You know what happened to is it Lagos Ibadan speed? Where did that rail stop along the road and they were all stranded? As a Kaduna.
Yes, Kaduna.
They were all stranded till like 2 a.m. in the morning without no security, like 1 a.m. Okay, they're building another one now.
But it's safer.
It's safer?
Yeah, but the rail was actually the one that actually saved a lot of people while they were traveling to the north, especially in the heat of the kidnapping and all that. As a matter of fact, when the House of Representative members wanted to go find out exactly or oversight functions, they usually go through the rail because it's better, Yeah. But this taught them a lesson because I think not having security, as a matter of fact, I think you have soldiers on every train that is traveling on, because if you look at the path of the train, the standard gauge is actually built along areas in the bush. On top of
lonely areas,
Lonely areas. So you really need security. In an ideal situation.
In fact, I was scared for them. When I saw that story,
I was really glad that they escaped.
I was scared, but they escaped. Oh, thank God.
That they were all the train kick-started and they all came out, on Earth. But that gives us a lesson, because that also points out to our enemies, maybe the kidnappers, that this is another loophole that they can exploit. But yes, Mr. Fatuke was talking about this Niger Republic thing. Questions over Buhari's fuel import deal with Niger Republic. Haulage modalities unclear. Move signals regional solution. Government may sell state refineries. That's the story that I like us to look at this morning. We want to import fuel. Well, good news. We're talking about refinery. We now have one refinery, privately owned in Imo State. It was commissioned by President Muhammadu Buhari a couple of days ago. I think it was 2 days ago, actually. On Tuesday, yes, it was commissioned. And not groundbreaking. You know the part, Mr. Fatuke, I had to read the story again and again to ensure that it was not another groundbreaking. It was commissioned, so it's ready for work.
Yes, sir.
And now we want to import fuel.
So, Missy, Tessie, fellow Nigerians, yes, it's good, like you have highlighted that. But if you have been like me, who's faced a couple of world wars, world battles, wars over the past 30, 40 years, you would be a bit skeptical. And I am going to lay it out very briefly. Back to the rail. The problem we have in Nigeria is that we do not think of maintenance culture. Yes, you can have all the money to build all you need to build, but how are you going to be maintaining? How are you going to be maintaining? How are you going to be doing what you call proactive maintenance? Proactive maintenance includes Tessie, like you rightly said, the fear that anything could go wrong. Now, I learned that apart from the story that is highlighted about 2 coaches rammed into some cattle, this is around Oshogbo or whatever it is. What that says is that for every train For every transportation between two locations, you must do the due diligence and making sure that you check all the T's and dot all the I's. Yeah, we do it at the beginning. Maybe we do it once a month, and then we forget about it. The last time I remember, the last major time I remember is the Lalupon train disaster. And that happens once about 35, 40, 50 years. We are now having situations where this is now becoming a recurring decimal. Yes, I understand that the security challenges are becoming untoward. The maintenance now looks at those security challenges and ensure that checks, balances are more taken care of. More like you have with airplanes maintenance. Because any accidents up there, you know the implication.
Definitely.
So likewise should be. Back to your specific question. Why I say people like us will not feel enthralled is that I can begin to tell you stories. Now, the modular refinery that was commissioned yesterday, I say kudos.
Was it yesterday or Tuesday?
No, Tuesday.
On Tuesday, it was showed.
Showed yesterday.
I say kudos. I say big kudos for the strength of the determination of the promoters to come and invest in Nigeria.
And it's Nigerian. It's
in Nigerians by Nigerians. Thank you very much.
Yes.
So the local content in whatever.
Exactly.
But from my experience, I hope they are going to be allowed to thrive. To the extent that the feedstock that comes in, the way it is going to be processed and turned into kerosene, into diesel, and into PMS, that's a premium motor spirit, they are going to be allowed to sell at their reasonable prices that gives them a bit of a return. Look at Tomisi. Look at what she's putting on there. Did anybody go to her hairstyle and says, you are going to do this, please, you can't do this for more than 200 or 100 naira? Will she have the incentive to be able to do that? Pricing is the problem. And I overheard Mr. President also say when he was inaugurating the establishment, I hereby direct NNPC, PPMC, DPR that they should do all what it takes. Not necessary to the extent that things are allowed to obey the natural law of supply and demand. More people will come and then competition will set in. After all, the feedstock in terms of the plants that is going to be supplied there is going to be supplied to them at international market price. So it's not a question of NNPC. Yes, if Mr. President is thinking, she said I'm going to raise my voice. Yeah, if Mr. President is thinking of maybe the intermediaries, logistics, the Nigerian bureaucracy, we see this is black and white, and we all continue to call it green that I'm putting on. Yes, the red tapeism. No. So the 11 or 14 that have been granted licenses will naturally come in. And when all this comes into it, and we do what we call a risk assessment, I am an industry practitioner. And one of the reasons why I am not so, I'm enthralled, I'm happy, but I'm not so enthralled is the fact that we must make sure that the remediation that comes with the refinery business is well taken care of. Government's responsibility is just to ensure that this is done as cleanly, as greenery as possible, and that any deviation from there is punished. Now you also talked about the fact that we now have a refinery in Niger Republic. everything tends to, in perception, to now import fuel. The industry that I belong to, I used to work in one of the best companies that you can create anywhere. It's called Mobile Nigeria PLC. As far back as about 20 years, moved down to about close to about 18 years. The samurai, the chief samurai of the ExxonMobil came to Nigeria. And one of the things that they put on the table is the fact that our refineries should be private, or should be sold, until Labour and so many other people now then came into it. Guess what happened? The valuation for selling our refineries was put at $1.
That's 20 years back.
Nobody wants to hear it. But they made their point that our refineries are sitting on a bed of oil. One. Two, anybody that wants to go and buy any of our refineries, virtually comatose refineries at that time, we are going to have to deal with the issue of indigents coming with stones and sticks. The remediation has indicated the fact that our refineries, as they were then, worse, perhaps worse now, is sitting on a bed of oil. And if you come in, and the indigents now begin, and the friends of the earth now then come in, it is going to be your responsibility who has decided to buy a kind of a dead horse. So when are you now going to start? Those refineries are worth little or nothing. Then we came in, the Buhari government now then came in, and we started pumping a lot of money into around maintenance. And what has that given to us?
And today we are the refineries.
No. The Dangote refinery, by all undertaking, is going to help us with logistics. But we keep on deceiving ourselves, and this is one of the basic problems I have with our patriotism as Nigerians. We keep on deceiving ourselves that, Dangote refinery is our Nigerian refinery. Prices are going to crash.
What?
Not necessarily.
Is it business?
He is going to get its feedstock at international price. Yes, we are going to try and see how, instead of exporting
crude,
our job opportunities out, we can do it here. But if we are not careful, if we continue the way we are operating our bureaucracy in Nigeria, our civil service, mentality in Nigeria, our our capacity. I believe, Dangote. I expect Dangote. He's been a private sector practitioner. That you must put this person there, you must put that person there. If that continues, even that grandiose, one of the best things to ever happen to the world, because it's going to be the largest, about the largest refinery that you can find anywhere. That grandiose project will just go down the drain. Nigerian Airways went down the drain, one of the best you can find anywhere. Nigerian Shipping Line went down the drain, one of the best you can. Nitel went down the drain. Why? Not necessarily because those structures were not supposed to be there, but because of the human intervention. I pray for Nigeria. I am happy at the modular refinery that came out, if they are going to be allowed to operate. And if Mr. President is going to have the political will and the political determination to understand the economics, because you see, it's one thing for you to understand the economics. It's another thing for you to just make pronouncements. I do not want us on a pronouncement spree. This is what we are doing. We want to use it for political gain. Now we are all looking at a situation where virtually our logistics, our rail system, we are going to be importing from Niger Republic, and Niger Republic can do that even when they don't have the kind of good feedstock, and that can work in Niger Republic. Yet we cannot make things work in Nigeria. Something appeared to me fundamentally out of skill and we must look at it.
No,
Thank you very much.
I think he answered the question already, because I was about asking him that when he made that statement in quotes, if they are allowed to operate, that what do you mean? But I think he explained it already.
Yes.
But if you still have another explanation, you can.
Well,
Yeah.
it's
Because
going
that
to be
process has been inaugurated.
it's going to be
by the
allowed.
president.
It's going to be allowed to operate normally, naturally,
Okay.
fairly.
Okay.
Tessie, when you approached the optimists, did anybody goad you? People might have recommended one or two places.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did anybody goad you that you must go A or you must go B or you must go C?
No,
It
I
was
get
a
it.
natural
Yeah.
supply and demand situation. So, likewise, the Nigerian system of supply and demand must be allowed to work. Smuggling has to stop. The issue of say we are deregulated and then you are having the PTF still operating has to stop. That is what I really mean. That it should be allowed to work. It is not going to be a presidential pronouncement. Presidential pronouncement is not going to do nothing in economics. Economics is not dictated by a decree, president. I want,
Pronouncements.
or you just say
for
like
them to implement.
go print more money when your productive capacity is just not there. You end up being a Zimbabwe of this world. If you're not careful.
Before we move to the nation, one more story I want us to look at in the Guardian newspaper this month. Of course, we have stories like how government fuel economic recession by the CNPP, Senate summons Pantami over use of communication devices by Boko Haram and kidnappers. Imofe, one of the best Nigerian movies, Nigerian indigenous movies, has been selected for the Hanyang International Film Festival in China. They've gotten like 2 awards for that movie already. PDP kicks Senator Abba defects to APC. That I would not even want to talk about right now. But this one concerns me because we've been talking more about police reform and police reform and police reform.
Police reform.
Now, police open fire on traders, injure a girl. And
In
3
Yenugua,
others.
right? Is it in Yenugua?
Yes.
The one of Yenugua.
Barely some weeks after youths across the country took to the streets to protest against police brutality, another bizarre show of brutality has triggered unrest in Yenugua metropolis when some policemen opened fire at a crowded market, leaving
obstructing
4
traffic.
women critically injured on Tuesday evening. Eyewitnesses said that policemen in a white Hilux SUV with registration number Terrapole NFF 8643C opened fire on the market women, inflicting life-threatening injuries on a 17-year-old trader and 3 others for allegedly causing traffic that delayed their van from passing through the popular Tombia market. When the traders were assisted to leave, they hesitated to leave. One of the policemen opened fire on the traders, causing pandemonium. Now, Joy Robert, who was with her foster mother when the incident happened, said while they were walking down the Tombia Bridge, they saw a policeman shouting at market women to clear the road for the vehicle to pass. Before they knew what was happening, the man pointed his gun at the women, ordering them to move out of the way. The women were dazed, and before they knew what was happening, he began to shoot on the ground.
He was shooting on the ground.
He was shooting the ground.
Okay.
I'm of the opinion that these policemen are supposed to be trained.
You've been saying that.
Now, with the kind of crisis that had happened in time past, in the last couple of months, I do not see sanity in any situation that makes a policeman want to disperse a crowd and then they're shooting at the crowd. What happened to shooting into this guy? As a matter of fact, I must shoot at all.
Tony Singh, you are very, very correct. And we must begin to situate things in the right perspective. Please, let's be clear. What happened in Tombia Market is horrendous, not acceptable, and those who have been affected, they have our hearts, our prayers. Hopefully, many will not, pay the supreme price for that. So that is one. You made use of the word training. Training goes beyond classroom instruction.
Definitely.
Training is the overall emotional intelligence that tells you you're a woman, you are a wife, you are a mother, and they all have responsibilities. All those responsibilities must be compartmentalized. In fact, one tends to lead to another. When you are successful in one, you become much more successful in the other one, and then you become a bit much more successful to lead in the final one. If you are not emotionally wired, if you are not emotionally wired that a woman has to go through the painful 9 months, if you are not emotionally wired to say a woman, despite all that, still has to tend for the family and still pay. Okay, how do you say this? Tessie will help me. You know, activity at night.
Okay, the hazard.
You know, the dividend of democracy of marriage.
Okay. There's no democracy in marriage.
The dividend of democracy of marriage.
Dividend.
What kind of What's an explanation?
You can say she's smiling. You can say she's smiling. So she's gotten her. Women will understand the fact that, hey, sometimes before you raise your voice, not because you don't have a right, before you raise your voice against this seemingly helpless human being, think twice. She's had to go through a lot.
All through that.
How can these people be cautioned?
That is part of the thing. Now, having said that, please let us all also understand that this is a marathon. This is not something like the EndSARS happened last month, and then the whole of the police force, whether you rename them, whatever it is, will now begin to manifest almost immediately. Tomisin, you are right, because I guess, and I must not insult you on television, because you believe, it's common sense. How can something happen just last month and then you expect somebody saying it's shooting to the ground, shooting to the air? That is common sense. But common sense is not common. Now, I'm happy that I also read that the policeman that was involved in that heinous act has been what?
Arrested.
Has been taken.
What will now be news to me will be that this particular policeman is not brought to book immediately in the next 1-2 days and be used to be for others to teach them a lesson.
A lesson.
Now,
a really big lesson.
It's not to say that the police are not overwhelmed. Usually, sometimes, you have some of the hoodlums want to come in and do a lot of damage control. But the last result is for you to take a decision to shoot. We are still battling with the issue of blank shots, live shots at Lekki and some other areas.
And then Mr. Fosuke, we all watch movies. Even for those of us who watch movies, Tessie. We watch American movies, common sense, so that you don't shoot at the ground because it's supposed to bounce back.
Haven't said that.
And we have a lot of issues of trade.
Security is everybody's business. And I think we should be realistic. We should be practical in not assuming that we are going to get to our El Dorado in terms of the kind of brutality we find. One of the things I thought I was going to find in Tombria is that, the guy, everybody around saw.
Fucking the gun.
Back a little bit. Take the photo, send it immediately. Not necessarily. Was it Nnamdi, Right Honorable Nnamdi Azikiwe, that said that only a madman will argue
with a man that has a gun.
That has a gun.
In fact, I like the way the story put it, that they
were
stoned.
I was like, I'm still going to address people as well.
No, but they were stoned.
Do not say because the world is fighting them. Do not say because everybody's against them. You not see them with a gun. You not stand in front of them. We need to be careful as well. Just like I said, only a mad person will see a man
holding a gun, and you don't scramble to safety. Because I mean, we've talked about stray bullets as accidental discharge for so long a time that everybody should be aware right now.
When you say them, avoid them. If they ask you to leave the road, leave.
So having said that, the medium term and the long term will now then be the Tombria police guy is being arrested. He has area commanders.
The commissioner of police has actually spoken that they love the fact that they were even able to give them the plate number of the vehicle.
Beyond speaking. My point is that, I'm sorry, I'm going to be a bit harsh here. No. The commissioner of police will not go scot-free. We will be lenient on him. How have you trained the men? Okay, well, how have you, communicated with your men? Do you do a communication on a daily basis?
Mr. Banker, I want to ask you something. All these police people, before they get employed, is there no medical test? My man is he does exploitation. Before they go on sea, they go through different series of tests. If there's alcohol in your blood, you don't go. You don't go. Is it that can that be? I don't know. Can that be imbibed in this? Even if
they don't do that, Tessie, don't they teach them the rules of engagement? I'd remember that.
Is it just that after police college? What did they learn in police college?
I like to tell you that the police college thing that you have just mentioned, the training, we are talking about police. I make it bold to say to you, with all sense of responsibility that I have, that Nigeria has lost it. The Nigerian nation has lost it, whether in police, whether in the army, okay, all right, whether it's in the educational field, whether it's the medical field,
all sectors.
Whether in the way you are born and the way you die.
Did you see a report?
We've lost it.
Did you see a report that Channels Television did? One of our stations, sister stations here in Lagos. There was a report on police conduct, something about the welfare of policemen.
Oh yes.
You saw that video?
Oh.
Where the kind of food they were being given was shown. Do you know how much they said they give them? Something like, in quotes, somebody who's being trained, like 50 naira thereabout.
Is it only the type of food?
Even the amount of money, as in, I think they get 150. That's supposed to be like breakfast, lunch, dinner.
At where?
I said when they are training police.
You need to see where our police are being trained. Sometimes I'm not going to make excuses for the waywardness that we see, but you get what you invest, what you sow back.
Very, very true. You treat them brutally at the training. They come out on feeling.
The people that we are hiring and just putting them without any due process, just get them on, whether they are drug pushers, whether they are drug addicts, and in any case, many of them have come through that process and they are in the National Assembly. Don't forget. So, my point is simple. The training is flawed. Police and our security agencies are underfunded. Nigeria is not in a position with the kind of revenues that we have mismanaged, misapplied, continue to steal by the national, state, presidency. The 100 naira that we expect at least 40 naira to be going into our security forces. Only about 1 or 2 kobo goes in there, and we all open our eyes and we all accept.
And we just pretend as if we do not know.
And then when they begin to shoot, and then that's the only time we now
talk about them.
Decide we are going to wake up. To our police,
they don't have anti-riot care. Because naturally you're going on the road, you're not supposed to be holding a gun.
What about insurance? But for the NSAS?
Welcome back. Apologies for that abrupt break. We were talking about the police reforms and this shooting of traders to disperse them in Yenagoa. And I was about to ask Mr. Fatuke, of course, Mr. Fatuke is still here with us. I was about to ask him what exactly happened to Nigeria procuring anti-riot gear. When you are abroad, you see policemen carrying weapons, pistols in their pockets. They have their pistols, at their band. Then you see them holding the baton.
The baton, yeah.
And then sometimes you have them caught with tear gas or something. They have something caught there.
Caught there, yes. And they also
At
have
the
a
waist
shield.
as well. They have their shield.
Their shield, yeah.
Now, all of this, this is the normal gear. That's what you see when you see police. That's what you see. You don't see police carrying rifle.
Do we have such in Nigeria?
In most cases, except they are going on maybe to do breaking in, maybe going for a crime, to go break down a crime, or the happily robbers are here or something. You don't see them carrying rifles.
Yeah.
They carry pistols.
Yes, they
And
carry
usually
pistols.
they are in their pockets. It's not as if they fly it around, showing people.
I don't think we have enough pistols in Nigeria.
Is it pistols that we don't have? I say we don't have anti-riot
They
gear.
are
What happened
properly,
to our
they are properly trained and orientated.
Have you found rubber bullets before in Nigeria?
I was about asking you that question.
What
Just
about
read my
water
mind.
cannon?
I wanted to ask you that question. Is there rubber bullets in this country?
What about water? Water spray.
Water spray, they don't have it.
Tomisi.
They don't even know it.
Tomisi and Tessie,
They don't know.
I am given to understand, I need to be proven wrong, that all this that you have mentioned, that
maybe
you
it's in
expect of a normal, medium term. Don't let us talk about US. Don't let us talk about
No. I'm talking about
the UK.
countries like
Let's come down. Let's come down to Rwanda. Let's come down to
Zimbabwe,
a place like
South
Ghana.
Africa, Ghana.
Monies have been voted to take care of this over time. The monies is not being reflected on the police personnel. It's not refunded back to the treasury. So in between, you not seeing it on the police and being returned back to treasury, so there is a hole. That money is going down a hole that is called corruption. And because that corruption has eaten deep, not just in that area alone, look at, like I always say, look at the SDG goals, 17 of them. In all of them, we are about red. Money has been voted to do certain things over time. The money is released. The budget is padded. Yet, we see nothing to show for it. Until when we all agree that we will continue to stop being, not making Nigeria a joke, because Nigeria is not only a joke. Nigeria is a country, like I always describe in my social media interaction, of jesting rulers and comedian followers. I was making a point that, but for the NSAS, those police guys that were killed, in a jiffy, in 2-3 minutes, I've never seen such efficiency. In a jiffy, members of their family are jettisoned out of those ramshackles. They are just jettisoned. I just said, oh, come on, out. No compassion whatsoever. Not to talk of, say you are looking for a proper insurance. Do they have safety gadgets? Do they have?
Is that not what we're talking about? Shields,
anti-ballistics?
Yeah, I think that's supposed to have, but you don't use.
When you now put those kind of people out, this is one of the reasons why I just think we are all gisting. So we all dress in our agbada and all that, and then put AK-47 in the hand of these people who over 50% of their monthly salary, well paid, you expect them to go buy uniforms. How serious are we? Yeah, it's good for us to be able to say, yeah, we criticize them. But you reap in whirlwind what you sow in the wind. And we must all come back to look at things critically. it is no longer the fact that it's police service commission, the police, the army, the navy. The buck stops on Mr. President's table. I'm afraid it stops on his table, and that is why he's president. And if these things continue to happen, the tendency of Mr. President to guard economically, to guide security-wise, and to give hope to the children that are coming behind is imperiled. That is putting it point blank. There is no more. What is happening? Kidnapping. If the president's home state in Katsina is being ravaged
by kidnappers,
not just by kidnappers and bandits, and all what we hear is whimper, then God help you. God help you.
No, he's not the president of Katsina, he's the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Coming from Katsina State.
Yes.
Well,
I believe it should be decentralized.
If it's decentralized and the decentralization is not working, it gets back to Mr. President. Very simple. Okay? I feel deep in my heart, knowing the Nigerian DNA, your people, your wife, your children will not be suffering the kind of things you are suffering, and then you say you are in a television station and you are having a nice flanger time. It's not done. It can't happen. Take care of your home. Okay, in a manner of speaking, take care of your home. And if your home is not being taken care of, other areas that even suffer more untoward effects of this kind of thing, who are you now to now then say? The point I'm making is the buck stops on Mr. President's table. If he's not been able to appoint the right set of people to help us, take us out of these woods in the past years, or if he's not aware, because I'm beginning to get, I think he may be a good person, but maybe he's not aware, maybe something is dead somewhere.
In the communication gap
something is dead somewhere. Because if something is not dead, then an emergency situation, I'm not talking of state of emergency situation would have tried to resolve.
In our security, I think things have gotten to get worse and worse when it comes to
as a president of a country. I know a lot is expected from him. But President, he chose some delegates, he chose people to represent him.
In different areas.
But I know everything still comes back to his table.
Definitely.
But do you think he's properly briefed?
Okay, well, do I think he's properly briefed? Good question. And if he's briefed, does he understand the briefing? Second question. No, I'm serious. Okay.
I should believe. Okay. I want to believe he understands the brief.
Now.
If it's properly briefed.
That is if it's properly
briefed. The borders were closed since August.
That's where we're going.
That's where we're going to
last
now.
Year.
That's where we're going, really.
August 20.
A committee was set up by Mr. President. No feedback from that committee until Dangote and BUA came into the picture, and then the way we do things is, well, it's going to be affecting some sacred cows. So that is now the time that they are now reopening the whole thing. Does that show a presidency that is having everything all together? When I come on national television, I voted President Muhammadu Buhari 2 times. And I've said it clearly. I've seen the president that I loved and I voted for scoring own goals a number of times that I am just overwhelmed with the bloodshed that is going, that the little steps that is taking is being eroded. Nigeria today is seen clearly as a butt of joke. Nigeria today is not working. There is absolutely no doubt about that. You know one thing about the Nigerian system? One thing about the Nigerian system is that you may be failing. But one day, just take a turn around. Nigerians will be ready to forgive you. I am not seeing that in the immediate horizon. I know we have opposition, which by itself, in my own honest opinion, have not dared to be better. So from one stage to another stage, we have people that are first 11 representing us. We have people on the bench. We have people on the reserve bench that are by far better than the people that are representing us. That is the conundrum that we found in the Nigerian situation.
So you're saying that even if there has to be a rejiggling for the president to achieve the kind of result he is looking for, he is promising Nigerians, or he has promised Nigerians, then the deed must be done.
Not only be done, must be seen to be done, must be practicable to be done for everything that Mr. President, most things, not all. Let's give it to this regime. They have tried to make some moves. Ease of doing business, okay.
Deregulation.
So the regulation, which is not fully deregulated.
Building of refinery. Closing of our land borders.
Area
to cut off smuggling.
Corruption.
Yes.
2 steps forward, 3 steps backwards. So it's been very, very slow. We need a drastic
measure.
war room situation. We are now in the we are minus 6.32, shrinking.
Yeah.
It's not now the time that all I see from the president is that every Wednesday, the council meets and then somebody comes to address us. We are going to be awarding this, we are going to be awarding that. All what we do is awarding. Nothing is being said as to how to create, how to reflate the economy. So, to me, it's not impressive. If I sound harsh, tag me any name you want to tag me. But if there is anybody that loves this Mr. President to leave a legacy, maybe it's people like us. We tell him the truth. We are not getting the impact. Yes, like you rightly said, it's delegated. If you have delegated and you are not getting from the delegations you've made, you change. But are we saying that?
Remove and replace. But has that ever happened before?
If we keep talking about this, we're not going to leave here today. But I just want to be positive.
Talk about this.
I'll talk about that. I just want to be positive. I believe what the Minister of Finance said, that's
Mrs. Zainab.
Yeah. She said maybe first quarter in 2021, we should be out of recession.
Yes.
So let's just hope for positiveness. Let's just hope for positivity.
For me, recession is even
except Tessie. Economics is an exact science. If you say that we are going to come out of recession,
probably
on what premise?
Maybe they have a plan.
From my experience, and I can tell you for free that part of the premise is that the rain is going to fall, and agricultural produce is going to come up. Nigeria has been growing in those areas, not so much about the policy that government has put, but because naturally, that if you took your finger
and you plant it in the ground
and you cut it into two and you dig it in the ground, it will grow. If that is the hope, so be it. In the still COVID era, it takes a lot more than hopes and promises. If what you are saying is prayer
and policies,
yes, prayer. This statement was made last year. A similar statement was made 2, 3, 4 years ago, and I know where we are. I am much more interested in being very practical. And you know what? There is an economic advisory council. There are people in that economic advisory council I know personally. Not like I know, like Mr. President says, it's people that he knows, I know practically that if they are listened to, and I can also tell you, economically speaking, but for the impact of these guys, our recession will have gone beyond 6%. Part of the things that they are talking about is full deregulation. Part of the things that we are talking about is the fact that we have to, make sure that the electricity tariff moves at par. If only we can all show example, if only we can all reprioritize. Government has taken some of those things in, and that is the reason why it would have been worse. I expect, Mr. President, please recognize these folks. Give them all the powers. President Jonathan of York recognized the fact that his capacity to manage the economy was limited. He got the Okonjo Iweala all back from Obasanjo's regime. There is nothing stops you from taking that turn. It is not just for us to, okay, well, this is what I'm not misunderstood. In the present government, we have some ministers. I can vouch for them. But do they have the clout? We have a vice president that I know, even if you accuse me of being partisan, very articulate. On a few occasions that he acted for, but I have to be very careful, I have to be very careful in what I say here. In the very few occasions that he acted for Mr. President, when Mr. President was on medical tourism, the rating of this government went high. You can't fault that. Only for Mr. President to come back and then things were being reversed. That doesn't give me a good feel that we have a good pilot, that I should enter the plane and I'll get to a destination. Hopefully, we'll be able to get there.
Now, this story on the front page of the Nation newspaper: pressure mounts on government to reopen land borders. LCCI, NECA top push for action. Panels report ready, says Finance Minister.
And I think that's where Mr. Fatuke was saying that this came up as it was said that there might be special waivers for BUA and Dangote to move their goods across to other parts of
somebody needs to explain to me that if BUA and Dangote were not impacted one way or other, they are heavy players.
Oh, of course they've been impacted for a while. They've been locked since last year.
If they were not impacted, then nothing will happen.
No, but is it time? Our question now has nothing to do with the fact that whether they were impacted or not. The LCCI has been calling for that for months. NECA has been calling for months. The TUC has been calling for months. And basically, a lot of Nigerians have been calling as well, wanting to the Orlando border should be open,
and I've been
so that the AFCFTA,
calling as well,
so that the AFCFTA would work, work.
Did you say all these outfits have been calling for months?
Yes, for the reopening of the land borders.
You sure about that?
Yes, LCCI started calling for the opening of the land borders about August.
Really?
Yeah.
And since they've been calling, and government has heeded.
That's what I'm asking. Is it time? Government hasn't heeded, but is it time?
Oh my God. You see, you've just come back to my position that unless you get a proper all-round understanding of economics, what you are going to be doing is just be doing a bit of tinkering. And what we have seen is tinkering. Now, in the first place, let's get it clear. Government had a good intention ab initio when the borders were closed. We are going to try and protect the local farmer industry. We're talking about smuggling. Quite a lot of things are being done. We are talking about issue of security. But what did we find? We found a situation. We were looking at the micro. In economics, we call it micro. We are looking at the micro elements of some of these things without looking at it in macro. How then do we ensure that inputs into helping the farmers? We also learned that rice mills in parts of the north were growing, and it was going well. But one other thing that we now found is that Nigeria had no capacity to enforce, whereas in the southern borders,
yes,
we had all the closures. Up north, a legislator from the north says, look, there is really nothing like border closure up there. And this has been said to the hearing like the LCCI and so many other people have said. So if you do not have the capacity to control, because you do not have the deftness, why did we have the customs, the whole of the immigration, when they are not going to do what they are supposed to do? And so we now wait until about this time to now then begin to now communicate. Has this been communicated well? As I speak with you, this government is going to get a lot of flack. A very good policy, not backed up by a proper production strategy for Nigeria, to be able to measure.
But it's not save our industries have
to be
kickstarted.
able to measure and say, yes, between the time that we did this and that, apart from what the customs came out initially, that they were able to seize a few of the goods which has now been looted anyway.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, or that we are now seeing situations where some of the things that were seized is created jobs, corruption for the boys. In anything that is Nigeria that we do manually, you get manual intervention, whether it is in this border closure or whatever, it is manual intervention. Somebody now sees, and you have to bring a file, you have to look at it, you have to. The Nigerian corruption system knows how to take care of you. Look at the Maina situation. Look at the amount of humongous money that has been stolen. And I can tell you, Maina,
Yes.
Maina can pay his way through any of our system, including the judiciary. Oh, my
Well,
dear
he has
sisters.
disappeared.
He's disappeared, but from wherever he is, he can pay his way.
Well, he has disappeared.
I think if he can, he won't run.
And because
I
of
will-
him,
If he can, he won't
because
jump
of him,
bail.
my dear
he
Senator
can.
Aline Dume,
My ladies.
who is one of the senators I love in the Senate,
My ladies.
has
My-
been taken into custody.
My ladies, like I always say, I work in the oil industry. One of the areas that we've had malfeasance and the greatest corruption ever is in the subsidy regime that has cost Nigeria trillions. And I can tell you there are people, there are forces who will not want the regulation to happen. Why? They are able to, at every stop, bribe their way, and they've been doing it over time. The Nigeria economy is now collapsed. Now, getting back to the point I was raising,
Yes.
that Maina is ran away, obviously with the connivance, I must say, connivance of the authorities. He can pay his way back. Senator Ndume, I quite understand what has happened to him. It's most unfortunate. He's learned his lesson, and you should learn their lesson. We should begin to look at situations where we say, where you stand for bail, is it really worth it? Who can jump bail? And the point I'm also making is the fact that Maina can find a way to wire 500 million naira, $500 million, even if that is the case, it might be.
You think he has that
But I
much
think
money?
the case is more than that.
He has more than. Do you know how much this guy has stolen? Do you know how much his son has stolen?
And now
So-
they're looking for the son.
And now they're looking for the son.
Oh yes, it's not going to be far-fetched, and that is why I keep
How
on
did they leave
saying.
Nigeria?
I keep on saying Nigeria is a huge joke, and until we begin to look at it very practically, lessons have been learned. I believe and I hope and I pray Senator Dume will get out
Get
of
out
this.
of this.
Not only just get out
Amen.
of this,
Amen. I
he
say
will
big
come
amen to
out
that. Aloud amen.
and do legislation in such a way and manner. I think I love a lot of the truth he's been.
And I think the
Very
court has
true.
ordered one of his property to be sold.
it's
That was the
been-
property he actually used as a shorty
Use as shorty
for
yeah.
that 500 million.
But Mr. Fafike,
bill.
no, that is not derived from the topic we're talking about. The land, the opening of the land.
Why will I not be in support?
But Mr. Fatuke, how will you be in support of something that brings more imported goods into Nigeria? For
Nigeria.
example, the African Continental Free Trade Agreement favors more of the West African countries and other African countries who are going to be bringing in goods into Nigeria from whatever direction, more than us.
Tomisi,
Yes.
Turechi, I love your Turechi. Hey. Including AFA. Nigeria is signed into the protocol. We are
Yes.
doing so many other
But it's
things.
not beneficial
whatever
to
it
us
is.
anyway. We don't have so much to import,
Yes.
to export right now.
You are my benefactor. You are the one that is paying my school fees, my training, so many other things. You are my benefactor. You know what you've told me? You say, please go out there. Even if you don't have food to eat, I'll continue to support you. By the time you come back home, you are going to find a family flowing with milk and honey. And I've decided to go look for the golden place. Only for me to discover that I'm not just the only one that you've done this benefaction for. You've done it to even a person that came into our household. I knew it, you knew it, that's come to kill virtually people in that locality. You know, the first thing I would say, something is wrong. And I put a call to you. Why are you doing this? Oh, no, I'm looking for peace. I'm looking for, okay, let's look at it. But you've told me what I should expect. First year, second year, all I keep on hearing about you is the fact that even if I decide to come back, I'm going to come back into penury. It will make absolute nonsense on my part. So now I say, because you have given me that, goodness to send me off, I should not be able to tell you the basic truth. You are not taking the issue of the family, economy and affair very seriously. And I will politely just tell you, well, if you are going to stop, you better stop. Now, government close the land borders for reasons. I just told you, was it really closed? The southern border,
rice became
the southern border was closed. The northern border was not closed. That is exactly what we found.
How?
Yes, it wasn't closed.
How?
You go and do your investigation, and I can tell you authoritatively, most of the northern borders were not closed all through this time. What are we talking about?
Anyway, Mr. Fasuke said, but I need to go straight to the forgotten ones.
It should be why. Because we do not have the political will, the goodness to look at Nigeria as an entity where we are all looking at the same direction. It's unfortunate. That is the way it is. So I am in support.
On a final note,
that I am in support. We should open because we've not been able to manage that aspect. We do not have the data for us to be able to.
So we failed in that aspect.
I think basically we're going to build the wall.
We failed in many aspects.
We're going to build the wall and
no, Mr. Fasuke, please don't put words in my mouth, please.
We're moving straight to the forgotten ones this morning, and Kayode joins us as usual on the Bumper Breakfast Show. It's community report period. We'll be back. This is my brother. Yes, we're back. It's the Bumper Breakfast, and of course, Kayode joins us this morning. You know, I was almost saying Kayode, dear guy. Kayode is here with us this morning. Kayode, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. I'm cool. Thank God I'm here today. God is good.
God is
Thank
good.
God for life.
You know, the Bible says God is good
all the time.
All the time. It put us on. Let me ask you to sing this song.
Thank you, Jerry. I'm so happy you are able to help me come and. I mean, you're looking sharp, you're looking sweet. Come on, that's fantastic.
Thank you, sir.
But anyway, still the Bumper Breakfast, and you know we usually have community report every time. Now, community report today focuses on some roads, and I'm going to send Kayode out of here if he doesn't talk about the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway that has refused to be completed. I mean, the past. Remember that time last year when the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway was closed so that they could finish the Beggar, axis. Remember?
Yeah.
Just that short kilometer to Beggar. So I drove through that axis on Saturday. I couldn't imagine that road was fixed. I was confused. I'm serious. Between Beggar and Punch.
Okay.
that axis was something else.
The kind of pothole, broken road halfway. You know, it just looked like something that had been abandoned and not fixed before.
Both sides.
I was now thinking back to ask myself, no, the other side is okay. So I was now asking myself the question, so please, can you guys refresh my mind? Were both sides fixed last year, or was it a one-sided repair? Because I know that we suffered for a while that side of the road was closed. We had to suffer for a while. The traffic was mad for that period. It was just before Christmas. And then we're back here and then the road is gone. Why are we repairing a road every time now?
Mr. Kayode, please, before you answer to Mr. I have this question I want to ask you. Where have you been? Yes, where have you been? I've not been seeing you, especially on this segment.
Well, that was why I said, thank God for life. Thank God for life.
Remember I was
That
saying,
you are seeing me today seated here. Thank God
for life. Remember Kayode was really ill for a while.
That's so deep.
You know?
Thank God for life. Thank God for life. Thank God for life.
Kayode, you need to answer me.
You see, Tobisin, we'll keep saying it. We will not stop saying it. Sometimes I wonder, sir, how those who are leading us feel when they see their subjects suffering. For crying out loud, it doesn't take a rocket science to fix a road. You pay a contractor, you give him, terms of reference, you give him condition, okay, you give him time frame, and then he go to the site and then do the job. But sometimes in Nigeria, you see people doing road for years. You see
Like
people
Lagos
do
Ibadan
road
Expressway.
within space of few months.
Like Lagos
The road
Ibadan
is back to
Expressway.
0 points. So what is
Lagos
the
Ibadan
problem?
Expressway. No.
You see, Tobisin, 2 weeks ago I went to Shagam.
Where did you show?
Yeah. Daddy, when I eventually reached Shagam, I said to myself,
Yes.
I said, until I discover that road is completely completed,
You won't use the road again.
I won't. That anything that will take me to Ibadan, I rather, avoid it.
The road is as bad as that.
My
I'm
God.
not joking. It's that terrible. I mean,
I was
driving
going.
to the road and I was asking myself.
Sorry, Tobisin, we got to Shagam interchange. The road was blocked. I was going to Shagam. I have to turn back. Then I went through Ogiri. That day was something else. Something else. So we manage and now took through Iperu inside to go to Shagam. Hours on the road.
Just to get
Due
to
to
Shagam, that
traffic?
is just about 40 minutes away from
I
here.
don't know where they brought this trailer. You would think that the trailers in this whole wide world.
I've gotten to
What happened?
Lagos Ibadan Expressway. I'm not joking. I'm not joking.
So what is the problem, sir? So what is the problem? If you want to fix a road, is it not because you want to make life, comfortable for people?
But
Well, sometimes I don't get it. I don't know their mindset, the way they
comfortable for
feel.
people?
Because they're suffering on this Lagos-Ibadan expressway, especially between Lagos and Ogiri, is becoming something else. So people will be coming from the east, maybe from Onitsha, 3, 4, 5 hours. When they get there, some people will spend like 6 hours, 4 hours
you can
between
enter
that before you
Lagos.
can enter Lagos.
Because
Why?
it's that bad. It really
For
is
how
that
long
bad.
are we going to
It
continue
really is
like
that
this?
bad.
That's the
I'm not
question.
joking. It really is that bad.
So it's not a joking matter.
Really?
Something must be done.
It
Yeah.
really is that
It
bad.
gets back to what I had mentioned earlier about maintenance culture. One, it's not so much that we embarked on a project. There are so many projects that have been embarked upon. Many abandoned, many really not abandoned, but each successive administrations now tries to replicate. What has really never been clear is how to maintain. Maintenance is, in my view, equally, if not much more important than the construction itself.
Yeah.
Let's be fair.
Yeah.
Tomisin, you asked that question. I haven't been on that road for some time. But I don't need to be on that road for me to feel what Kayode has explained, because I see it replicated in so many areas of our lives. The question is, was that road constructed? If no, all right. If yes, very sad. And in any case, those of us who are who've been involved in maintenance, okay, all right, construction, maintenance, facilities management, because they all come together, will tell you that if you are going to embark on anything, one, you either take money from your pocket or you take a loan. So if you have taken a loan, one of the things you have to do is, this is the loan, this is the terms, this is the repayment. Yeah, it's going to be a social investment infrastructure, like it says. And so for the next 5, 6, 7, 8 years time, you should be able to repay back. It should be clear. Everybody should see that. I am afraid I am not seeing that being done in the way and manner it should be done, as we do in private sector. In public sector, money is released, you go and defend it at National Assembly. The National Assembly will ask 1 or 2 questions, you get angry, you may not get angry, at the end of the day, you go, and then the other aspect is the award of the contract itself. What the process says is that when you are going to be awarding the contract, you are going to be calling for tenders. The Bureau of Public Procurement must play its role. The last time I checked, I have not seen situations where the Bureau of Public Procurement was still waiting for a board after so many years. The essence of the board is to ensure, like Kayode is challenging and asking in pain here, that if you have adopted a contractor who is falling short of whatever it is, he's sanctioned. But is that being done? And one of the reasons why,
Are you sure are they?
one of the reasons why that will not be done is because of politics. And because perhaps perceptibly vested interest. So let's put that aside.
Are we even sure they finished paying the contractors?
Now,
No, but
Are you
even
sure
if
they're
they
not
don't
going
finish
whether
paying them,
whether they have
70%
finished
is
paying
enough for
or not
16.
finished paying them, the contract that has been signed with the
Must be
contractor
finished, yeah.
has to have guarantees. Guarantees that this road is going to be on for the next 1 year, 2 years before we can think of any maintenance whatsoever.
Can't we just have a jail term like they have in China? Because Mr. Fatuke, you're
Has
still
that
going
been
to talk
invoked?
more when we talk about the Lagos Abeokuta Expressway. I believe we have videos of that one.
Yeah, I'll bring the video next week. But that one is another thing, oh.
But which one are you talking about? You have another one thing you want to talk about?
Yeah, it's attitude of people at Mero. You need to see
The attitude.
Oh,
Please, I'm interested in
dumping attitude. I have the video. Seeing is belief.
Refuse.
You see people dumping refuse on the road, and this thing has become, a normal thing.
culture,
Look at
yes.
it. That's the video. That's Mero Road. That's Mero Road.
Okay,
So why?
So back to it. Still comes back to maintenance.
Look at this.
When I speak about maintenance, many people will not really understand. Maintenance.
No, what's this?
That's using long
This is
stretch,
long.
distance. That's it.
Maintenance.
From the beginning of the road till
So
the
they're expecting.
Mainte-
Why do they drop this? Who are they expecting to pack?
Maintenance.
That's why Mr. Fatuke is talking about
Maintenance
maintenance.
Yeah,
is
you mean-
both
Mero.
the hard and the soft core. It's not just enough for you to say you've constructed a road and tell you, like you have rightly stated. Is there not supposed to be an agency that's supposed to be picking this? Have they been paid their salaries? As we speak, which one comes first, chicken or egg? If the people that are supposed to be paid have not been paid, and one of the other things that I learned, and which I want Tomisi and Tessie to also investigate, is that monies have been voted to these outfits, there has been a middleman or middlemen or middle women or
In the middle of the way.
who have decided that they will take this money in bulk, pay peanuts to these people, or not pay them at all. Something similar to what is happening to the
Because
Nigerian
even the
police.
cleaners are not being paid.
So
According
this
to
is
reports
now a recurrence of the fact that we just choose not to. And after a few moments, that road is going to get bad.
Now,
And then we start
Mr.
all over
I'm
again.
not going to blame
Must
even the
we?
people
But
for
no.
this, for taking that
That's
decision.
what I keep saying.
Don't
You
be
have to blame
refused
the
on
government
the
every
road.
time.
Whatever
Even the
happens.
people
For
themselves.
crying out loud, you have the
They should be
front
blamed
of
for
your
this.
house. You can keep this refuse in your house. But for Mero, you understand, it has become an attitude.
I tell you,
And these same people, when it's raining season, they dump their refuse. They dump their refuse in the drainage system.
And we have people selling
Why are
food
they doing this?
Coyote.
both raw and cooked food stuff along those roads.
you have to be in depth in psychology for you to understand certain things that are happening.
Okay,
Okay.
I believe you,
Let
sir.
me just
I
tell you the
understand you,
truth.
sir. I understand you.
That is a protest action.
Action.
That is an action to say to hell. We see so many things that are wrong in the system, and rather than applying our common sense to do it in a logical way, we have complained over time. It's not been done. Let me just go and dump. Yeah, similar to what fella did. Carry the coffin to the damn barracks. They don't want take him, then go take him. They don't want take him, then go take him. Similar to what happened in the NSAS situation, where people that you expect to be rational decide that, yeah, we are hungry and then we are going to burn BRT buses. So they become very irrational. What that entails, still back into the maintenance culture that I mentioned, transparency, accountability, communication, clear communication of roads, and that when you see things that are coming up,
Like this.
it didn't start yesterday, Coyote. It didn't start the day before yesterday.
Yeah,
It didn't start last week. And
Like 2 years
I will
ago.
be shocked that the authorities are not aware. The local government in that area will not be aware. That's all. To hell. So, I am 100% in agreement with you at your pain. I'm still suffering a pain that I cannot explain. That out of hunger, yes, I know we are hungry. Out of hunger, people decided that they were going to go into sanatoriums, Ogbaweri, and go and cut. See,
Does that make sense?
you know there are levels of madness.
Very true. Very true.
The level of madness has now, it's like we are still alive, but the level of madness has now gone into the stars. And that is why Coyote is coming
Someone said
here
it's 5%.
and cannot,
Negotiations are mad.
and cannot understand. Now, look at that Meron Road. That road has been constructed with
And it's beautiful.
With
It's one of the few ones they have
low
that access that is
that
beautiful.
that our children's children are still going to be paying. In an
We need to
economy,
go. We need to
in
go.
an economy that is not growing, and yet rather than say, okay, if this is all what we have, let's all preserve it even as human beings.
Yes.
We are not going about to destroy it.
But,
Tessie had to
Coyote,
close.
I know we've closed, but Coyote, I want to ask something. These people dropping this thing, what is their intention? What are they expecting to come pack it? And why
Loma.
are they not being packed on time?
Loma and
And if they
PSS.
don't drop it there, where else can they drop it?
Now,
I have all these questions
Tessie,
to ask,
that
but
is
I think it's time
what
for us
me
to
as
go.
a person I don't know.
And that's where
That's why you have
I'm
to
going to
find out.
discover that. I'm
Please,
going
you
to
have to
find
find out.
Because this thing has been on for close to 3 years. Before
There
the
should
head
be
of
a
the
reason
party
for them
administration.
dumping it there. If there's no other place to dump it, where
There
else
was a
can
time they
dump
were
it?
tracking them
And
and
what is
arresting them
delaying
early in the
clearing
morning.
it
But
immediately?
at a
This
point-
thing is being laid on the road, at the side of the road. Why is it not being cleared immediately?
And I think
All
the
these
neighbor
things
would
are things we
call.
need. All those questions are
The
what we need
neighbor
to
would
find
call.
out.
And even
And they
with that,
have
to stop
health
them.
implications.
They
Yes.
do.
And
Very dangerous one.
They also know maybe it's a deliberate ploy.
Yes,
to
go.
put guys
It
with
is.
community health issues.
We need to go on the bumper breakfast. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We'll see you again tomorrow. Remember, tomorrow
Bye-bye.
it will be all about hard conversations.
Stay safe, stay safe, stay safe.